It's always a pleasure to come to Japan. I think it's a completely unique culture over here, and one that I really enjoy to experience. The circuit is definitely one of the best circuits in the world. The fans are so passionate for the sport, and it's always a challenging weekend here. We've obviously come from Singapore, the jet lag is pretty substantial, and that is a challenge for everybody. But equally, just looking ahead for the weekend and excited of what our prospects could be.
So which are them after what we've seen in Singapore? And I know it's completely different track and
Sure.
everything, but
Yeah, I think the 4 races after the summer break, we've had a clear trend. We had Spa and Monza, which was low downforce, high-speed circuit. Then you had Zandvoort and Singapore, which was a high downforce circuit and a slightly slower speed. And we clearly saw at the high downforce circuits we were performing much stronger than we were in Spa and Monza. Now Suzuka sits kind of in between the two of those circuits, so I expect our performance to come out somewhere between the two. It was obviously a shame in Singapore for us not to capitalize on the really fast race car we had that weekend, as we saw in Zandvoort. You know, we fought for the victory in Zandvoort, and had things turned out slightly differently in Singapore, there's no reason why we couldn't have fought for victory there. But yeah, this weekend may be slightly tougher.
did you study, like, did you understand why?
Yeah, I think we had some hints before the summer break, after Budapest, what makes our car work, what doesn't make our car work, the conditions, the style of circuit, where it performs well. Now we have a clear idea, and we'll definitely work better at the slightly slower speed circuits with the higher downforce compared to the faster tracks. So, as I said, this fits somewhere in between the two. I don't think there's a clear circuit where we're going to be able to fight for victory between now and the end of the season. I think we'll just be a small step behind, but it's definitely given us a really good direction for 2023. Thank you.
Hi. In 2019, you didn't have a very good car, to say the least, but still you could enjoy and experience this track?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was a circuit that I always raced on the Formula One game as a child, one that I was always looking forward to racing, and this is the sort of circuit we need in Formula One. There's obviously a lot of sort of diversity in the sense of the sort of circuits we race at now, between street circuits, old historic classical circuits, the new circuits which have a bit more runoff. But for every single driver, this is the sort of circuit we love.
We had a typhoon 3 years ago, not this time, but it's going to be very wet tomorrow. Is it a problem for you or an opportunity?
I think it's going to be a shame for the fans, because in all honesty, with the weather forecast for the rest of the weekend, I can't imagine us doing a lot of laps. It looks dry on Saturday. Sunday looks a little bit 50-50, but still, with how the rules work with the tyres, we wouldn't unnecessarily waste any tyres and risk the car on a Friday, especially if qualifying is going to be dry. So I hope the rain disappears. I don't think it will, but that's just, I think maybe we need to have like a Friday set of wet tyres that are you can't carry forward into the rest of the race weekend. I know we have this with the intermediate tyres, but not with the extreme tyre. But it will be a shame for the fans if we don't drive tomorrow.
Just to pick up on what you said a moment ago, George, about maybe not being a clear and obvious place where you can fight for the victory on merit. Does that add to the frustration about the Singapore weekend? And is it fair to say maybe your best chance of a win this year has gone as a team?
I think our best chance of a win on pure performance has gone, but I think, you know, in Austin we've got a couple of little upgrades coming to the car, and that'll be intriguing to see how that performs. We've seen that we have really strong race pace, and we always come forward on a Sunday. You know, this looks like, I think in 2019 it was a 2-stop race here, close between a 1 and a 2-stop. We need those opportunities to get the most out of our car, because I think we are doing probably the best job in terms of time management and of race pace when you look at the swing between quali and race. But when it's the easy one-stop races on difficult tracks to overtake, we can't really show our true potential of the car. But there's no reason why this weekend we can't be fighting for a good result. It's just not going to be probably as easy as it could have been in Singapore.
The team have talked, and you've talked a lot about, you know, the good relationship you've got with Lewis. I suppose we all thought maybe it would be a kind of an overlapping of careers. Maybe you'd have a year or two alongside each other. But Lewis is now talking about carrying on, and Toto's even talked about 5 more years. Does that change the dynamic at all? How would you look forward to another 5 years of him as your teammate?
Yeah, I think it'll be good fun. I think I'm definitely enjoying being teammates with Lewis and having that opportunity going up against you know, the greatest of all time is, you know, such a fantastic opportunity for me to develop and show what I can do. And you know, we do have a really strong relationship. You know, I think the different stages of our career helps us to have that sort of transparency, and the fact we've gone through a bit of a tough time with performance this season, we've had to really come together to push the team forward, and we've built a really good sort of bond throughout this season. So I can't see that really changing. So, you know, welcome him to stay for 5 more years. I think it would be good fun.
One final, slightly irreverent question, but I'm curious. There is a scenario here: if Max wins the race with fastest lap, he gets the championship, no matter what anyone else does. Would it bear any on any decision if you could gain an extra point for fastest lap, whether you'd pit and do that if he were in that scenario?
I mean, I wasn't even aware of what the scenario was, to be honest. It doesn't bother me or us at all, really, because we're not in that fight. Our fight is with ourselves, because we want to win a race this season, and we just need to do the best job possible. We've obviously got half an eye on P2 in the Constructors' Championships, of which I think we'd love to try and take away from Ferrari, and that would be a big boost for all of us. But you know, we're not expecting to be able to, let's say, necessarily achieve that. They've had a car that's been probably 6, 7, 8 times faster than us for the majority of the season, and it would be sort of their loss. And our gain if we did manage to perform that. But yeah, that's, as I said, it's not our fight this weekend.
How do you see Max today winning, if he wins here, the championship? How do you see him as a driver today comparing to last year?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, he's an exceptional driver, and he's always been an exceptional driver. I think when things are working well with yourself and the team and the car's performing well, things come a little bit more straightforward, and obviously not having that direct pressure from a competitor allows you just to focus on your own stuff and probably sometimes gain even more performance. So they've been very, very solid this whole season. I'm sure they're going to be very solid again next season, but that's for us to work incredibly hard at the end of this season over the winter to produce a faster race car. But when you look at the progress we've made this year, it is promising, but obviously let's see what they can achieve over the winter as well.